Hello and welcome everybody to Game 2 of sixjaxViBE versus ToD. Spawning here in the bottom right corner as the green Zerg, we have sixjaxViBE. Spawning up here in the top left position as the blue Protoss, once again we have the French Protoss, Team Dignitas' ToD. Now this is going to be Game 2 of a best of 3 from the Evil Geniuses Master Cup. Currently right now I believe the standings are that sixjax Gaming is not doing terribly well right now. I think sixjax Gaming, out of the 8 teams currently in the tournament, I think sixjax Gaming is currently in the 7th position. Team Dignitas currently in the 5th position. So ViBE here really looking to take a win off of ToD to try to get up in this tournament. I'm not actually sure when this tournament ends. I believe it's going to be for at least another 3 rounds, but I'm not sure about that. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I will keep checking up on it, and I would love to cast some more games from it, because actually the games I cast yesterday were also from the EG Masters Cup, but I didn't really get to catch a whole lot of the games from the EG Masters Cup, and so there's just so many good players playing in it that I really felt like I had to cast some of these games. So that is exactly what I am going to be doing here. Now, we do see from ToD, we do see a fast forge here going down, so it looks like we are going to be seeing a fast expansion here out of ToD. Very common to do on this map. This map has ridiculously long rush distances. It's actually really hard to rush opponents on this map, just because to go from here all the way across the map to here takes a really long time, and because there are so many Xel'Naga towers in the middle of the map, if your opponent just has a probe on one of the Xel'Naga towers, it's pretty easy to spot an attack coming. So most likely, it's very common for almost all races to pretty much always fast expand on this map, and that is exactly what we are seeing here from ToD. ToD just now getting up that gateway, and ViBE just now coming in, able to scout that is exactly what has gone down here, sees the expansion that has gone down for ToD, sees no gas has gone up yet, didn't manage to see that this one gas has now gone down. So it looks like ToD is going to be teching just a little bit, going to be getting up that cybernetics core here pretty shortly. Does have a photon cannon now at the front to defend against any kind of early Zergling attacks. He has scouted his opponent, saw the pool go down, so he does know about the spawning pool timing. And on the production tab here from ViBE, we do see 4 Zerglings now coming out here for ViBE. If we check out the harvester count right now, ViBE is definitely trying to get his harvester count up. In the last game, we saw ViBE actually lost quite a bit to an early push from ToD. ToD went for a very well-timed attack that was just kind of almost at a little bit of a funky timing. He got up his 2nd expansion and then just kind of immediately pushed, which is not something you generally expect to see out of players. Generally, when you see a player expand, you generally expect them to sit back and macro up on that expansion for a while. Now, here's something interesting we are seeing here from ViBE, though. Now, because he saw his opponent go for that fast expansion, he's decided that he wants to constantly be 1 base up on his opponent, and because the rush distances on this map are so big, I mean, look at how small the Overlord is. Look at the Overlord on the minimap. See that down there? Look at how tiny that is. This map is huge. This map is giant. So it's definitely a little bit safer to be taking this 3rd expansion, and interesting move here from ViBE. ViBE is actually going to be mining a slightly long distance, but it's almost like he threw up his macro hatchery up before his main, so it's kind of an interesting move there, but it allows him time to destroy those destructible rocks. Love that move there from ViBE. Absolutely love it. Gets up that early macro hatch, going to be able to produce quite well off these 3 expansions if he does get to that point, if ToD allows him, that is. Now, it is very common on this map to also see Void Rays. Void Rays is a very common move for Protoss players, but we do actually see that ToD is going to be going for a heavy gateway count, and what is this we see going down? Looks like we do now have a Dark Shrine here going down for ToD. He sees that ViBE is focusing a lot on mineral-based economy right now. Lots of drones, lots more additional hatcheries, and he's devoting and now he's going to be forced to devote his gas to getting units. He's going to need to get up roaches if he's going to want to be able to survive any kinds of attacks. So that means he's not going to be getting up a really fast lair. And as we can see right now, there is no lair up right now, and the Dark Templar are now moving into the bases of ViBE. ViBE is now aware of them. He does not yet have an evolution chamber. Oh no, wait, no, he does have the evolution chamber Chamber down. Spore Crawler's not down yet, though. Just starting to build those Spore Crawlers, and he's got one there in the back. Does he have one at every base? He doesn't look like... Yeah, actually looks like he has one at every base, so well prepared there by Vibe. Love that timing there from Vibe. Very, very common. If you saw my games yesterday, Idra completely got caught off guard by Dark Templar and pretty much insta-GG'd out of a game by just getting Dark Templar rushed and then just GG'ing and quitting out because, well, he was just BM and angry, and as Idra usually is. But we see here Vibe being very, very well prepared for that, manages to get down all those Spore Crawlers in time for those Dark Templar to come. Nice timing there from Vibe. Now, what is the reaction we are seeing here from ToD? Interesting, we are actually seeing him destroy his own forge. This is not something you commonly see. You usually see him destroy a pylon. Does he have another forge up right now or building? On the production tab, yeah, we actually do see that there is another forge on the way, but holy gateway count, man. This is going to be quite a high gateway count here. ToD is still just sitting on 2 bases, currently sitting on 7 warp gates right now, or at least getting more warp gates. Got a robotics facility also coming in here. Still got those Dark Templar available to him. Got a few of them moving around the map here. Some well-placed pylons as well from ToD, so he's going to be able to see any kind of funny air movement there that might try to move around the edges of the map. But, of course, seeing that pylon, Vibe is not going to want that pylon up. That is going to be a 100 minerals that ToD is never, ever going to get back. Now, this is kind of interesting here. On the Xel'Naga Towers, we do have Vibe currently on 2 of the Xel'Naga Towers closest to ToD's base, and we see ToD on 2 of the Xel'Naga Towers closest to Vibe's base. So that's kind of something a little interesting there that you don't always see every day. But, of course, good moves from these players. If you're going to control Xel'Naga Towers, you want to control the ones that are closest to your opponent's base. Why? Because you want to know the second their units move out to come attack you. So, we do see ToD now throwing down that 3rd expansion. The Destructible Rocks have been taken down, and nice timing here from Vibe, but there's a Dark Templar here, and Vibe does actually manage to cancel that, save that 300 minerals, or at least most of those 300 minerals, and the Roaches come and clean up that Dark Templar. Nice little cancel there by Vibe. Vibe is going to be taking that 4th expansion. He is not yet aware that this 3rd expansion has gone down for ToD. Not going to be quite aware of that yet, but Vibe is starting to look like he's in a very, very good position. If we check out the food count right now, we can see that Vibe is currently up 153 food to 125. If we check out the harvester count, Vibe is up in harvesters as well, 77 to 70 harvesters. So he is in a very, very good place right now, getting that +2 melee, or +2 missile upgrades rather, as well as +1 missile attacks, getting that Lyle reconstitution. That is going to be Roach speed, and Infestors just now coming out onto the fields, as well as 19 Banelings. Holy cow. And Vibe does, of course, right now have that Overlord carrying capacity, so he could potentially be doing some Baneling drops here, which can be devastating to those Protoss players. In the base of ToD right now, we do have some Overlords going down, and we also have a lot of Zealots out on the field. We've got a couple Colossi right now. These Zealots do not have that charge ability yet. That is not even being researched yet. We do have Blink just now starting here for ToD. ToD going to be maybe going for a little bit of Blink Stalker play here. One Observer now moving across the field. This is actually kind of a late Observer. When I definitely play as Protoss, I like to get those Observers out really, really early. I mean, that might just be a habit of my Zerg main race, but I like to have a lot of map vision, so Observers are definitely a darned good way of keeping that map vision. We do have a Spire now coming up, Neural Parasite coming down for those Infestors, and we see a big push here coming out from Vibe. Vibe is now maxed at 200 food, but the army of ToD is looking really, really scary right now. Currently sitting at 190 food. ToD is going to be in a very, very good position here to hold off this push, unless these Infestors are used very, very well to lock down those Zealots so that they are unable to deal damage, possibly even Neural Parasite. We see a lot of Banelings now coming down on these Overlords. All the Zealots instantly go down, and now Vibe is going to be in a fantastic spot as ToD just does not have those Zealots. Look at that food count drop. 112 food now for ToD, and holy cow, those Banelings devastated that Zealot count. Those Zealots are absolutely necessary in this position to be able to absorb damage for those Colossi, but because those Banelings were just used so well for Vibe, he was able to just decimate the Zealot count there for ToD, and Vibe is now going to be pushing into the base of ToD pretty well, pushing into the Natural right now, dealing a lot of damage. completely avoiding this choke by just lifting and getting up into that base. Bungler Roast now going down on the Stalkers. That means they cannot blink away, and all the units of Vibe now coming in, dealing a lot of damage to these units. High Templar trying to get in here, deal as much damage as they can, but they are rather low on energy now. Some storms went off there. We do have a Dark Templar here. We even see a Contaminate going down on the Warp Gate, so holy cow, such smart play here from Vibe. This takes such intensive micro rather, to be able to handle this kind of thing, to be able to attack, to be able to be lifting into Overlords, doing Baneling drops, and contaminating buildings. That is absolutely ridiculous from Vibe. As we can see, he's also, not only is he microing extremely well right now, he's also macroing extremely well. The units are continuing to stream across the map right now. We see more roaches coming in. They do have that tunneling plausibility, so they are able to burrow, and they are coming in here, and he is still maxed at 200 food. Vibe in such a fantastic place, taking a 5th expansion right now. Looks like he's finally going to be forced back here. But Vibe in such a good place there, was able to deal a lot of damage, didn't get a lot of worker kills there. ToD was actually ridiculously good at pulling off a lot of his workers there right away, was able to maintain a lot of workers, and here they come right now. Holy cow, that is a lot of workers there for ToD. They are now coming back, but man, Vibe is just looking to look aggressive again. ToD looks like he's going to try to push back as fast as he can before Vibe can get up too many forces, but as we can see, Vibe has been sitting on a lot of bases for a long time. He has got that macro hatchery up, taking another expansion over here, taking another expansion over there. Vibe just taking over the entire map. If there's one thing I could say that Vibe is not doing right now, it is creep spread, but his macro is so on point right now. He is in such a fantastic position here. Looks like he is going to now be moving around, trying to be aggressive, try to apply some pressure to this third base. Nice wall off here from ToD, but will he be able to hold this from Vibe? Vibe is maintaining that 200 supply count ridiculously well, and what do we see now but Broodlords now morphing in the center of the map. We see some Corruptors staying on the map. I always love this from Zerg players. Too commonly, I think Zerg players just go to build Broodlords and are determined to turn every single Corruptor they have into Broodlords, when really, if you want to be dealing with Colossi, I always feel like it's a good idea to have a few Corruptors in the mix to take damage from the Stalkers while your Roaches deal damage to the Stalkers. As well as just force those Colossi back and prevent them from dealing any kind of damage on their own. Look at Vibe, though, still at 200 food. Despite all this aggression that he's applying and all this pressure he's applying, still macroing like crazy, sitting at 200 food, and ToD has been unable to be aggressive on his own for quite a while here. Now, we do see the forces of Vibe now moving out. There is a huge Broodlord count, 9 Broodlords currently on the map, and Vibe, of course, since now he's maxed, of course, the thing you want to do once you're maxed, since you can't build more army units, you want to get up upgrade structures. I don't know how many evolution chambers we actually have out for Vibe right now. We've got to have at least 2 on the map. I can't find them all right now, but they're out there, I promise you, because we have at least 2 upgrades going down for those ground units there. And now we see the Broodlords here now hitting this expansion here for ToD, and actually those Broodlords a little far ahead, keeping those Infestors out in front to be able to fungal growth. He wants to be able to fungal growth those Zealots to prevent them from dealing any kind of damage and hold them in place for those Roaches and Broodlords to deal the damage, and that is certainly what is going on here right now as we are seeing Vibe. Look at his food count, maintaining that 200 supply as the food of ToD is just plummeting. Roaches now streaming into the base of ToD. Lots of damage here being dealt, trying to take out these Broodlords as fast as he can. A lot of Broodlords here going down, but there are still 4. Will ToD be able to hold this attack? Lots of Roaches here. The last Colossus falls, and all the forces of Vibe now pushing into the expansion of ToD. I think we're going to see a GG here from ToD as Vibe is just continuing to be ridiculously good. Almost double the food count right now of ToD, in such a good position. Look at this. Also, Spines and Spores growing down. Going down at every single expansion. That's to prevent any kind of Dark Templar harass. Absolutely love that. Also reduces your drone count in that late game there. And Vibe now starting to apply pressure to this 4th base here, and I don't think ToD's going to be able to hold it. There is a Dark Templar here, but Vibe being sure to keep this Overseer here, and he's keeping the Overseer alive extremely well. And nice pullback there. Manages to stay alive with 5 hit points, and here comes Vibe now moving into this 4th expansion here of ToD's, dealing a lot of damage. Pylons going down everywhere. Dark Templars here getting taken out, and the GG from ToD. Vibe takes game 2. That means we are going to be going into game 3 right here, right now, to see who can take this best of 3, so do not go anywhere.